My name is Jonathan, and this is Nate. And today we're reviewing The Purge.
Yes, The Purge, starring Ethan Hawke, and that's it. The rest of the people were not very well known. I knew the mom from somewhere, but anyway, it's about an interesting idea. However, it wouldn't work in real life, but good idea for a movie. How crime is completely legal, including murder, for 12 hours from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I went to this movie expecting it to not be very good, and you know, sure enough, it has corny one-liners. It has a stereotypical bad guy that has no depth, too many last-minute saves.
His depth was he had a big smile, like a Joker smile.
Yeah, and even though throughout all that crap, somehow it managed to keep you on the edge of your seat almost the whole movie, and I feel like I have to give it a good rating because it was brutal. It was effective. I think what did it was the atmosphere was creepy, the acting was good, the script was good, and it was for the most part unpredictable. It didn't rely all on just violence for the movie. It relied on waiting for the violence, the suspense for the violence, and it kept you going, "Oh, just do it," or "Just come on," or "Oh, just ah."
Well, the scenario of they let a stranger into their house after they barriered it up because the dad's a salesman for security systems, and so I mean the kid in the movie that lets him in just makes serious mistake after serious mistake. I don't know. I mean, for me, this movie, yeah, it was somewhat interesting, but you know what? This type of movie you could see on a miniseries, and it could captivate you just as much. Only thing is, it wouldn't be as bloody on a miniseries. So, I really
The movie
wasn't.
really wasn't very bloody. I mean, it had a little bit of violence in it, but for the most part, it relied on waiting for the violence to come and the intensity of it, and even the intensity of while simple and cliche, it still made you intense of the moral dilemma that the characters went through about the whole idea of the purge. Throughout the movie, I won't give anything away, but it was good. It didn't follow a stereotypical Hollywood formula. It went kind of on its own path and divulged, and it was unique. However, they did beat the whole thing of it being the new American tradition kind of into the ground. They overdid that part.
Yeah,
What do
the
you think
founding
about that?
fathers.
Yeah.
Well, that's gets more into philosophy and how your viewpoint of things are. What life is, and as far as uh, people creating violence acts.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really, there's no way it would happen, in my opinion. But it's just
And I mean, there's no way it happened, but it was still an interesting premise for a movie. What I think their fault was is they did a great job of building the suspense, and then they tried to veer off. And they kept trying to veer off and do, like you said, a more philosophical point of view when it shouldn't have been that kind of movie. It didn't have
the philosophical part should have ended when no more
when everything
violence,
went south.
when there was no more
Yeah,
violence.
yeah, everything. But they kept trying to do it and beat it to the ground when it really should have just been um, you can't really call it a horror movie, a violent action movie. It should have just stayed with that. And because obviously the director was good at it, and he should have been better instead of using some of his efforts on this philosophical crap of the whole American tradition and making it less crime. And because it's obviously not going to work, so they don't need to beat it into the ground. It's just an interesting premise for a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overall, I gave it. I wasn't impressed with this movie. To me, just wait till it comes on TV because you don't want to spend money on something like this. I gave it a 2.0. I mean, that's probably a little too high, but it should have been a miniseries. It should have been on TV instead of a
I
movie.
disagree. I think I mean, if you don't like violence and you don't like horror movies and you don't like suspense, then don't go see it, obviously. But if you like any one of those three things, you want to go see this, especially in theaters, because of the fact that the theaters are loud and in your face, and you're going to be on the edge of your seat rooting for. Well, I'm not going to give that away, but I wish the bad guys had more depths. But overall, I gave it a 3.0, which is, as you might know by now, a good rating for me. I thought it kept you on the edge of your seat, and it was good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was
All right.
violent.
Well, thank you very much. This is my name is Jonathan. This is Nate. This is again another review for Hot and Cold Reviews. Thank you.